You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
If you're ever caught misleading, it can lead to a doomed campaign.
After claiming she had a college degree, then telling her campaign consultant, calling the reports that she didn't have a degree fake news, State Representative candidate Melissa Howard admits she lied. Should she drop out of the race? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We really know how to grab a national headline, don't we? We all knew, who knew a week ago, a state house candidate from the Suncoast would make headlines from here to the Washington Post, New York Times, ABC News, for all the wrong reasons. Tonight, Melissa Howard is apologizing for faking her college degree, but vowing to stay in the race. ABC7's Adam Cellini joins us for more. Adam.
Yeah, Alan, Melissa Howard, reopened her Facebook page this evening for an apology, saying she made a mistake, but adding that she is not dropping out of this race.
We're out here every day working.
Instead of canvassing, local state house candidate Melissa Howard is covering for an apparent lie about her education.
When I first heard about this story, I was like, uh-oh, because this spells trouble for the candidate.
After an online report challenged Howard's degree from Miami University in Ohio, the Republican candidate posted pictures of a framed diploma and transcript on her Facebook campaign page with the words, "The truth shall set you free." But the truth, according to the university's general counsel, is Howard never received a degree, pointing out the degree on her diploma doesn't exist, and the date in 1996 is 2 years after she was enrolled.
If you're ever caught misleading, it can lead to a doomed campaign.
Political science professor Michael Rogers wants to hear Howard's version of the truth, but her campaign declined comment Monday, and the guards at her gated Lakewood Ranch neighborhood were under specific instruction to turn media members away. The Sarasota office for the business she runs with her husband also empty on Monday. But Monday evening, Howard reactivated her Facebook page for an apology. "I made a mistake," she writes, "in saying I completed my degree. What I did was wrong," closing with, "I am staying in the race." Local party leaders indicated this weekend they would not ask Howard to resign before her primary election against Tommy Gregory later this month. Other party members say they should.
They want to put the truth in the forefront, and they don't want any type of misleading statements that characterize the local Republican Party, if not the national Republican Party as well.
Necessarily address some of the questions surrounding that framed diploma that she took a picture with, but it is worth noting that education is not listed as a requirement for State House of Representative candidates. Reporting in the newsroom, Adam Cellini. Alan, back to you.
Adam, thank you. We'll discuss the controversy in a moment, but right now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And checking the Casey Key webcam showing pretty calm conditions out there in the waters today. Unfortunately, the red tide is still around, although the fish kill isn't as extensive as it was last week. It's still there, and there's still that onshore flow bringing a lot of the dead fish still floating on into Sarasota Bay, especially toward the west-facing docks and canals. Now, we are looking at this trough of low pressure that's in place over the southeast, which is a little unusual at this time of year to have a mid-level to upper-level trough sitting in the eastern third of the nation. It was there, by the way, in 2004, which also caused Hurricane Charlie 14 years ago to move right into Charlotte Harbor. Right now, we are looking at a few inland storms. You can see that activity into Highlands County, southeast DeSoto County. Not much going on here in Manatee and Sarasota, and even into Charlotte County. Pretty quiet there, at least the western edge. And a few showers offshore still, and that's going to be slowly making its way toward the coast. But there'll be isolated storms, especially after midnight. Showers for the most part moving onshore as a result of that westerly flow. Again, we had a little bit of rainfall near Parrish earlier. That has since moved on. Some storms near Fort Myers. Those are weakening right now. And as far as our current conditions go, we have 86 degrees. It feels like 93 degrees, and winds are out of the south at 10. The forecast is calling for some bigger storms possible inland, but showers will start to pop up here in the Gulf of Mexico. Some of those will have an opportunity to work their way onshore in the early morning hours. I don't know if we'll have a repeat performance of last night's thunderstorms that occurred just after midnight. And boy, they were heavy and bringing some heavy rainfall, but there could be one or two lone showers or storms around. say after midnight. And then for the, looks like drop-off tomorrow for a lot of the parents there for school, and the bus stops should be okay for the most part. There'll be a few isolated showers around. Well, much more coming up a little bit later. Alan?
Bob, thank you. Usually we have to look to Washington for bizarre political news, but Melissa Howard has changed all that. When questions came up about Howard's claim that she graduated from Miami University of Ohio, she boasted that she hopped on a plane, flew to Ohio, and produced her transcript and diploma. Only problem? The school says the diploma appeared to be a bogus, error-filled forgery, and that the school records indicate she didn't graduate at all. In the days since, Howard dropped off the radar, and so have the chairman of the Manatee and Sarasota Republican parties, including Howard's treasurer, the normally available Joe Gruters, limiting their comments to saying only it's up to voters to decide. As for Howard's political consultant, Anthony Pedicini, he calls the whole thing fake news. But if there's anything that we have learned over the last few years, when politicians start crying about fake news, it's usually true. And tonight, Howard finally admits it, posting on social media, "I would like to apologize to my family and my supporters for this situation. It was not my intention to mislead anyone." Whoa, wait, Melissa, you apparently forged a bogus diploma. If that's not intent to deceive and mislead, I don't know what is. And joining us for more are Zach Anderson, political editor of the Herald Tribune, former Manatee Republican Chair Donna Hayes, and Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. Stunned reactions, please, and I'll start with you, Donna.
Oh, I was just absolutely stunned that anything like that would happen in our party. We have our party of conservative morals, strong values, and strong policies. And she has certainly been a surprise. Now, I totally enjoy the fact that this afternoon she says she made a mistake. That is quite a mistake to make. I mean, she did that deliberately, intentionally, and she just had this real lust for power. She had to get to Tallahassee, and that was it. In fact, it was so bad that today, I was a real shocker, but I received a call from her political consultant, and he threatened me.
Saying what?
We said very politely, if you should pursue this any further and ask for her to resign, bad things are going to happen to you.
He did not specify what bad things we're talking about.
Well, he did. Yes, he did. He did tell me I had an accident in 2012. To the tune of $470 damage totally. And he said that I left the scene of the accident, but that's not what the Manatee Courthouse says.
Okay, we're going to pick up on that in a moment, but Zach, the one thing that is obvious right now is that this is by no means over. I mean, she says it's not her intent to deceive or mislead, but if she made up this diploma with all the factual and grammatical mistakes on it, that seems like intent.
It's really hard to say that she didn't intend to deceive. You outlined the lengths that she went to apparently try and deceive people. If she's admitting now that, you know, as the university has said, that she never had a degree, and she knew that all along, she went to some pretty long lengths to try and deceive people. Like you said, she said she flew back to Ohio, to get her transcripts and to get this degree, and then continued to deny this all the way up until the university came out. The University General Counsel came out and said, no, she never graduated, and by the way, this diploma does not look to be authentic. And then she went dark for a few days, and now she's doing this mea culpa and asking for forgiveness, and we'll see what the voters say.
The Democrats were also dark for a couple of days. You didn't want to jump in there, and I know there's an old axiom that when your opponent is, basically committing suicide, so to speak, you don't get in the way of that.
Well, the question is, who else knew about the scheme? I mean, you talked about her treasurer, Joe Gruters. You talked about Anthony Pedicini. Did they know about this before it happened? The other thing I have for the viewers, 2 words, Liv Coleman. She's the Democrat in the race. She has 3 college degrees, including a PhD. She's the professor at the University of Tampa. But
before she gets to Liv Coleman, she has to win a Republican primary. And Zach, it's been my understanding, at least I've heard, that Melissa has been up in the polls by double digits. Is there any evidence that is changing?
You know, and I've heard that as well, and it stands to reason that she might be up in the polls. You know, this is a Lakewood Ranch, Eastern Manatee Center district. She's from that area. She's got a strong base of support in that area, and she's supported by some leaders in that area. And so, and Tommy Gregory, her GOP opponent, a Sarasota attorney, only a small portion of the district is in Sarasota. He's got a lot of endorsements, but he's not really well known. So, you know, he's going to have to spend a lot of money to get his name out. She was obviously going to have to, you know, try and get her name out too, but she seemed to have an advantage. She, you know, absentee ballots have already been going in. There's over 20,000 absentee ballots from Sarasota and Manatee that have already gone in. So if she was up before this broke, it stands to reason she might be up in absentee ballots.
Okay, we are just diving into this controversy surrounding Melissa Howard. We'll be back with much more after a quick break.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration. Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
When ABC7 declares a First Alert Weather Day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Sun Coast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a First Alert Weather Day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A First Alert Weather Day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Welcome back. We are talking about Melissa Howard, and joining us for more are Zach Anderson, political editor of the Herald Tribune, former Manatee Republican Chair Donna Hayes, and Kevin Griffith, the vice chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. Donna, you are asking for Melissa Howard to step down or to pull out of the race. Why haven't more Republicans done the same?
I do not understand that at all, but I know that people in the outside world not involved in the Republican Executive Committee are very interested in having her step down.
Zach, I would imagine there's so much at stake for the Republican Party on the Sun Coast right now. At a time when Republicans are nervous about the midterm elections, you see what happened in Ohio. The Democrats are targeting Vern Buchanan, and the Democrats believe they have the best chance in years of winning that seat. This is the last thing I would imagine that Republicans need right now.
Yeah, I've heard some of Tommy Gregory's supporters say that they think that Melissa Howard could drag down other candidates on the ballot, that other candidates are going to have to answer the question, what do you think about her behavior, that it could, tarnish the party a little bit, tarnish the whole slate. And other people say, well, that's way overblown. Once she gets into the general election, bygones will be bygones, and she'll be fine. So we'll have to see. It looks like she's staying in.
Kevin, look, we've had situations where other candidates have done things that are embarrassing and they have stayed in and won, and I'm thinking about the president and the Access Hollywood tape. I don't know if that's the model here, but it does show that voters see other things rather than just what's in front of them.
Apparently that's the lesson that they've taken, is when you do something like fraud, you just call it fake news and you keep running. I mean, we live in the age of Trump, and so it's deny everything, don't admit any mistakes, and maybe you'll win.
Donna, respond to that, because obviously you are a supporter of the president. I mean, and there have been, the same knocks about the president lying on a regular basis. Melissa Howard could be saying, look, people are forgiving, and it's policy, not necessarily other things.
Well, I think she overestimates the idea that it's policy and we are forgiving, because we do have a high standard for our candidates and we vet them. And apparently Anthony Pedicini did not bother to vet his candidates, so he had a big surprise in this. I realize he didn't know what was ahead of him, but he's looking at his cash cow. All he wants to do is keep her in there with the prayer that she will win, because he's not going to give up on his cash cow. This is business to him.
Okay, we have to take another quick break. Our conversation on the controversy surrounding Melissa Howard, a Republican state representative candidate in Manatee County, continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Right now, high pressure continues to be to our south, and that has brought us that westerly wind. Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a great day today. It was pretty dry across most areas. We did have some rumble of thunder overnight, though, in the early morning hours, and that is going to be the possibility again tonight. There's that chance. It's not all that great, but it's there. High pressure will eventually track back northward by Thursday. It should be over north central Florida. That'll return a east wind throughout most of the day, which hopefully will start to clear the bay out a little bit of all that dead fish. But right now you can see a little bit of activity out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Not much going on here along the coastline. All is fairly quiet right now. There are some showers trying to move in our direction. Some activity into Highlands County, also to the north, are cooling things down there, but not too cool here. It's going to stay pretty warm. Temperature 80 degrees by 11 o'clock tonight. We'll have just a few clouds around with the possibility of 1 or 2 lone showers slipping in after midnight. And then again, tomorrow morning looks to be pretty good looks like drop-off should not be a big concern, although this model's not depicting any rainfall around. I think there will be a couple of storms scattered about. Then most of the activity in the afternoon will start to push inland toward the east coast. And then again, we have a chance for some showers along the coast on Wednesday, but more so, things start to change there. We start to see more of a southeasterly wind. You see these storms moving off toward the northwest, and even a little bit of activity in the afternoon starting to move toward the coast. So that'll be the day of transition on Wednesday. Thursday, we should be set up with a southeast wind component, but the news is some drier air will start to slip in too on Thursday, which will limit our rain chances. We're watching one lone system in the tropics out over the northern portion of the Atlantic right now. There's a lot of dry air set up just to the east of us, and with the southeast wind flow coming back into play, some of that will eventually entrain into our area, I think, on Thursday and Friday, limiting our chances for storms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures into the mid-80s along the area beaches, still pretty warm in places like Arcadia and Sebring at 90 degrees, the Gulf water temperature at 87, and the feels like temperature not terrible here into the low 90s. Here's the forecast for boating tomorrow. Pretty light wind. Southeast will start off, turning to the southwest, and just a light chop out there in the bays and inland waters. Here's the forecast then for the 7 days, the next 7 days. Slight chance for a few coastal showers to morning, inland storms in the afternoon. We start to transition to afternoon showers and storms, but even that chance is pretty small. By the weekend, we'll see a slight chance for late day showers and thunderstorms coming back into play. High temperatures warming to near seasonal averages. Alan will be back with his guest right after this. Stick around.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it
using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live. I live. She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Welcome back. We are talking about Melissa Howard, and joining us for more are Zach Anderson, the political editor of the Herald Tribune, former Manatee Republican Chair Donna Hayes, and Kevin Griffith, the vice chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. So, Zach, obviously the chairmen and women of the Sarasota and Manatee Republican parties are being not all that talkative about this, but I know a lot of people in the party are not happy about this. Where do they go from here?
Yeah, I've heard some grumbling. I mean, I think that especially obviously Tommy Gregory's supporters, and he's got a lot of Republican supporters, would like the party to come out hard against this and to ask her to drop out. But Joe Gruters and Kathy King, the chair in the Manatee County Republican Party, they've got to balance different interests there.
What are the other interests?
Well, I think that they're worried about taking a side in a primary, that you alienate people by taking a side in a primary. Now, some people would say you got to stand up for morals and what your party stands for, and their position seems to be, well, let's let the voters decide. I wonder if there is some kind of Trump effect here. Trump got a lot of criticism during the primary, and after the Access Hollywood tape, people were calling on him to drop out, and there was a lot of criticism. And so I wonder if there is some hesitancy to criticize a Republican and to kind of put your thumb on the scale of this primary.
Look, Donna, I know how you feel about this situation, but she has supporters who are writing in on her Facebook page right now. Let me just read you one quote really quickly. Good for you, Melissa Howard. I am proud of you for being a stand-up politician. Keep up the good fight.
I'm sorry. I see nothing stand up about this. I'm totally embarrassed. The party's totally embarrassed. There's no two ways about it. But I did want to clarify a comment that Zach had made earlier. All due respect, I do disagree with Zach in the fact that Melissa was ahead double digit. I've never seen that. Tommy Gregory has always been ahead. And My sources may be wrong, or his sources may be wrong, but I did not want the viewers to feel that that is the result.
Up until now, were you a supporter of Melissa or Tommy Gregory?
Tommy Gregory. First time I met Melissa, she came up with some very liberal stands on taxes and fees for education, and I knew right away that she was not a staunch conservative, so I never even thought about supporting her.
Kevin, is this just fuel for the Democrats going into a midterm where there seems to be a lot of energy out there?
Again, 2 points to your viewers. Go look up Liv Coleman. I mean, she really is a qualified candidate. And the other thing is, I'd like to give kudos. Sometimes it's the Democrats, this time it's the Republicans, but kudos to Zach. I mean, on CNN, Washington Post, our story here in Sarasota, journalism, despite the age of Trump, does have a role to play in politics.
I would imagine she could have avoided this really quickly, Zach, if she just didn't list that she, upon a graduation.
Yeah. The cover-up is always worse than the lie, and you know, the lie didn't need to happen in the first place. I mean, nobody really cares if she had a college degree. You know, if she had just been honest with people from the start, this would have been not an issue in the race at all.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Thank you all so much for coming. We want to thank our guest, Zach Anderson, the political editor of the Herald Tribune, former Manatee Republican Chair Donna Hayes, and Kevin Griffith, the vice chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party. When we return, we're switching gears. It's a day parents around the Suncoast have been looking forward to since May. School is back in session. Ever since that final bell in May, schools have been scrambling to upgrade their security to make schools as safe as possible. What changes have been made? We have a whole new discussion at the Same Old Trapezoid next.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss.
Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back, everyone. This school year will be a lot different for students in Sarasota and Manatee counties. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us now to share the changes students and staff will see in the classrooms and the hallways.
Both districts have heightened security by adding school resource officers and state-trained guardians, and they plan to make even more improvements in the upcoming years.
Coming back from the summer, approaching safety and security from an entirely different perspective.
Local teachers, staff, and school district officials have a new outlook for the new school year.
We're coming into the school year in a better position than we've ever been.
School resource officers will continue to patrol middle and high schools in Manatee County. But now the state allows trained school faculty to carry a firearm in elementary schools under its controversial Guardian program, a new school security requirement signed into law after the deadly Marjorie Stoneman Douglas high school shooting.
It caused all of us to look through a different lens at protecting students and staff in an active shooter situation.
Manatee County School District Guardians are wrapping up a 6-week training process with the Sheriff's Office, with the first group entering most elementary schools on Thursday. School Board Chairman Scott Hope says the former law enforcement officers and military personnel are school employees hired specifically to provide security in the hallways.
They're going through the state required training for active shooter, proficiency, and they're getting additional in-servicing and education around, working with children.
This is the first year an elementary school in Sarasota County will have armed personnel.
Most municipalities have not provided any law enforcement protection to our most vulnerable, our K through 5s.
School resource officers are now in place at all Sarasota County school campuses, including all 21 elementary schools. The Sarasota County Schools Police Department's 25 new SROs have Florida law enforcement certification and an average of 23 years of experience.
And every single one of them has a passion for law enforcement and takes it personal when these tragic events happen around the nation.
Newly sworn-in Chief Paul Grahowski says parents will notice vast improvements at all Sarasota County schools as crews continue to add perimeter fencing, add bullet-resistant glass outside of lobbies, and tighten its visitor identification system. The chief says there are 80% more cameras throughout school campuses, which will help officers safely patrol all 53 schools.
This police department providing new boots on the ground for what was an unprotected, vulnerable area within our county.
Chief Grahowski tells us the Sarasota County Schools Police Department will be the exclusive law enforcement agency providing SROs this time next year. In Manatee County, the district is looking ahead by completing safety assessments for every school in the district and wants to bring in a firm to determine the cost to make the campuses even more secure.
All the schools throughout the state have been diligently working towards, replacing locks and doors and glass.
Both school districts want families to feel at ease as their kids head to school for the next 179 school days.
Your child is safe in our schools from the time we pick them up on the school bus until we deliver them home.
You're in good hands.
The school district of Manatee County says its guardians will cost taxpayers about $2 million per year. The Sarasota County Schools Police Department will split the cost of SROs with the Sheriff's Office, and the school district tells us the exact cost is to be determined. Reporting in Sarasota and Manatee counties, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Erica, thank you. And joining us for more are Sarasota School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler, Sarasota's new school police chief Paul Grahowski, and Elizabeth DeGenis, the education reporter for the Herald Tribune. I know you all been up since the crack of dawn. I really appreciate you being here tonight. Chief, let me ask you how it went today. Did this execute the way that you were hoping it for?
It did. It was a great day. All the hard work leading up to today made it all worthwhile today. You'd have little kids come up to you and hug you on the legs and just high-five you all morning. And Elizabeth was with me this morning, and it really made it, for me, all pay off.
Elizabeth, I would imagine that there was a lot of trepidation for parents, given what happened last year, given everything they've heard about the road we have taken to get to this point with the new security system here. What were parents telling you?
You know, I think a lot of people were excited to see law enforcement in schools. I think people have been waiting to kind of see this program roll out. We have heard so much about it, like you're alluding to, but I think that really I did see Chief Grahowski and the officer that was at Gulfgate. They were really interacting with parents and students, and I think, you know, parents are always focused primarily on their kids getting to school first and foremost, but I do think they were excited.
Yeah, Bridget, you knew you were going to get to this day, but I would imagine a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, you didn't know how you were going to get there. This obviously went better than one could have expected if we were looking at this in early June.
I think that it's important, well, first of all, congratulations, because I think that ultimately, regardless of the decisions and disagreements on how to get there or the time frame in which to do so, it is all about our students being safe. I'm glad that the first day of school came out without a hitch, and it's, again, encouraging because we want families to feel confident in what we're doing, and as a board member, that's kind of where we go, and we have to continue to make sure we're watching closely.
The thing is, and just by looking at Sarasota and Manatee counties are taking different approaches to the same problem and challenge, and we don't know yet which is the best and most effective approach.
And I would argue that I think that it's going to be different for each place in each county. I mean, there's a variety of different, and that's why I believe there was some flexibility within the bill, and that's a whole different show in of itself. But I think ultimately, as we look at the path that we took, we are going to continually have to evolve and evaluate the best path forward and tighten. I mean, when we talk about, I know budget was one of the things that I was concerned about. Again, we don't want to go on the cheap, but we need to have a path and understand what that looks like going forward.
Chief, this may be too early to ask you, but I'll ask you anyway. Sure. Looking at where you are right now, what areas are really a work in progress?
Basically staffing, just getting the people through our HR process and onboarded, and through the training and through the hiring process. We vet our people seriously. We've sent a couple through the HR process that didn't fare out, and we're looking for only the best of the best, and I think we've achieved that. We've got a collection of men and women from around the country who I like to say are the who's who of law enforcement, both local, and we represent every municipality within this county, as well as people from this county.
What about the relationship and the coordination with the Sheriff's Office in terms of the 911 center, all the other things that go there, evidence rooms, sure, and coordination?
My partnership with local law enforcement is what I expected it to be. We are all brothers in arms, and I've been welcomed with open arms. Our partners in the municipality and in this county sheriffs have been great.
Elizabeth, what are you hearing on that regard? Obviously, we've been reporting the bumpy road and the relationships and the breakdown in relationships. Is that over with? Is it solved? Is it just that we're moving into a new realm here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for me to declare really either way where we are at permanently, but I think what I will say is that, you know, I did see there were many sheriff's office deputies around on campus. I mean, the middle and high schools still have deputies, so and some of the elementary schools do too. So I think that there is really a partnership there. At the same time, I think I've heard some people in the sheriff's office express some uncertainty as to what's going to happen next year with the internal police department. So that's a big thing that I'm hearing.
So in fact, we have some really great pictures that were provided to us this morning, mm-hmm, in terms of Chief, you and your men and women out there greeting the kids. I mean, that's really what it's all about. That is heartwarming.
Absolutely.
But Bridget, you still have a tremendous amount of work to do over the next 12 months in order to make this transformation complete from the sheriff's office to your own police department.
100%. And one thing that the chief touched on, I think, is so important is, and I had raised concerns, and he knows I've said this to him privately, is it's not about doing it, it's not about one person being right, it's about doing it right. And so ensuring that whoever is taking these positions, we vet them properly. And also, I want everyone in that department to know that they have the support of the board so that they can do things successfully, and it's not about timelines.
And again, this may be too early to ask you, but I'll ask you anyway. If you look at state law and what the state needs to do in terms of legislation, what still needs to be done in terms of security issues and funding that will be up, you know, for the legislature to take on this session?
I certainly think that there's going to be a lot of reflection there. If you look at all of the different districts and who did Guardian, who didn't, and all the funding components, I think I'm always hesitant to us to lean too much on Tallahassee. We have to figure out what works for Sarasota. We have to ensure that we've done the infrastructure component, we have the law enforcement component, the mental health component, and then training our staff. It's a holistic plan, and again, waiting for Tallahassee necessarily can sometimes slow us down and put us in a position not moving forward. So
okay. We have to take a quick break. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on school security on the Suncoast after a quick break.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
According to a new survey by U.S. News and World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality, we just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Welcome back. We are talking about back-to-school security, and joining us for more are Sarasota School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler, Sarasota's new school police chief Paul Grahowski, and Elizabeth DeGenis, the education reporter for the Herald Tribune. And Chief, we were talking in the break in terms of your efforts to hire people, to get them on the job. But as we all know, even if you staff up 100% and harden the schools, if you look at the school shootings that we have dealt with for the last 20, 30 years, it's hard to say that enough police officers or SROs or even guardians would have stopped these.
Sure. The biggest thing that we're doing, I think that's really exceptional, is we are providing our employees, our school district's police department, to our schools. We have a vested interest to do nothing but protect our children. We don't have a traffic unit, we don't have an air unit, we do one thing, we're going to do one thing well. And that relationship building will get into the component of being able to have approachability. Mental health is the big piece, and having that relationship with our officers will give us the ability to receive the information, to get the persons that are in crisis into the right hands.
Bridget, maybe that's the right question to you, because there's just so much you can harden any school, and there's just so many officers you can hire.
I agree, and I think you hit on a great point, and it's something that I've said, and I know it's been discussed even prior to Parkland, but it's really about training our staff as well, but being mindful of all their core role of educating our students. But I was on a call maybe 2 weeks ago, and it included a teacher from Parkland that was on the 3rd floor, and she talked about how she was able to keep her students safe during the shooting, and it was because of the training that she had, not directly from the school district, but something that she had to de-escalate and keep her students safe. And to me, that's powerful, because I know that's something we need to focus on as well.
Elizabeth, you have your finger on the pulse of what professional staff at the school district is saying and what parents are saying. What are they saying to you about their confidence in this new system?
I mean, I think you touched on earlier, there obviously had been a lot of fits and starts when this started. So I think one of the interesting things about this year is there's kind of this two-pronged approach, right? You have the local law enforcement in middle and high schools, and then you have right now some internal police officers in some elementary schools, and then some sheriff's deputies and others. So I think it's really seeing how that all comes together and how that is a cohesive approach, and then how next year it's going to become totally the police department. So it's all really a work in progress. I think it's too early to say how people really feel, but
well, that was my next question, which I guess you can't answer. Do people right now feel safer?
Yeah, it's so hard for me to say. I mean, I think one of the things I think is most interesting is these elementary schools really haven't had full-time police officers in a long time since the recession, except for a few months last school year. So I think it'll be interesting to see how these young students really adjust to seeing a police officer every day.
So how do we avoid what happened down in Broward County, where this young man had so many red flags out there and nobody within the sheriff's office or in the system saw them?
I think that's the million-dollar question, but there's really, we have to look at what happened and what failed to learn from it. And I think there was a fractured communication process. I think that's one of the biggest things. If you actually look at 9/11, it's very similar of all the broken agencies that weren't communicating properly. So that is definitely a key area we need to focus on.
We have to take a quick break there. We'll have final thoughts in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Good evening, everyone. We're watching sunset with our tower cam here. ABC7 tower cam looking out over Sarasota Bay. And it looked like it was going to be a pretty good one, and then some showers in the Gulf of Mexico kind of developing, and it looks like it's going to shield most of that sunset tonight, but still pretty calm evening along the coast. Some showers offshore. High pressure continues to remain basically to the south and west of us. We're getting this westerly onshore flow, which will promote a few late night storms. We're talking early morning storms as well. Right now, the heaviest activity inland, that's pushing off to the north and east. Some strong cells right there into Highlands County. Not much in Manatee and Sarasota today. It's been pretty quiet since sunrise. Now, there are some showers offshore, as I mentioned. You can see them kind of popping up in the radar here over the past hour or so. So we'll keep a slight chance for some early morning showers and a few thunderstorms in the mix. Right now, that heavy rainfall heading right into Sebring and also some in the eastern portions of DeSoto County. In the tropics, it's been quiet throughout the month of July and now through August as well. We were watching this system right here. There's a low-level circulation. It is moving to the northeast. It's not a big concern as if it were to develop. It would stay in the North Atlantic and eventually move over some very cold waters. Nothing going on in the main development region right now, and that's primarily due to the fact that the water temperatures here are below average, and with the cooler than normal temperatures here, we don't expect a lot of development in the main development region, and there's a lot of shear in the Caribbean. So far so good, but you can bet we're going to have some storms here late August and into early September. Not necessarily here, but somewhere in the Caribbean, Atlantic, or Gulf of Mexico. Right now, there's a trough of low pressure over the southeast United States that has kind of disrupted the flow a little bit. We're seeing more of a westerly component to our winds as of late. Not the best news for red tide because it keeps all that fish, dead fish, on into the bay and into the west-facing canals and areas and docks that are facing west. 78 now. It's cooled in Orlando as some showers have moved through earlier. Temperatures up and down the coast, mid-80s, 86 in Bradenton. It's 85 in Venice now. The Gulf water temperature at 87. Heat index not a big factor, especially in Lake Placid where they're getting some heavy rain right now. 77 degrees. They're getting heavy rain over New Jersey into Pennsylvania and New York where there are flood watches in effect. You can see that area in green. They're all under a flood watch due to this persistent trough in the eastern third of the nation. Even some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for southeastern portions of Pennsylvania tonight, also into North Carolina. Out west, the heat goes on out here. There's a heat advisory in effect for northern Nevada And of course, not many storms out here because of the high pressure system, and that is causing problems for battling those fires out west. Southeast winds turn to the southwest at 5 to 10 knots, a light chop out there for boating tomorrow. And then the forecast calling for a slight chance for a few morning showers near the coast, and then mainly inland late in the day. It drops a little bit on Thursday and Friday. That's because of some drier air that will be slipping in. And then we get back to an afternoon and evening variety of storms as our winds shift back to an easterly direction, kind of butting up against the sea breeze, which will develop each and every afternoon. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
The Players Center invites you to explore the family dynamic in the classic story of On Golden Pond. The Tony Award-winning play opening August 9th is funny, thoughtful, and brutally honest. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. On Golden Pond is calling you.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Being empowered starts with getting informed, looking closer. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. But many of us don't know there are different types of breast cancer with different characteristics. That was me. Learning about the specifics of my diagnosis gave me the confidence to make informed treatment decisions with my doctor. This meant everything to me and my family. So take another look. Ask another question. Learn more at notonetype.org.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
Welcome back. We continue our discussion about school security. And Chief, let me start with you. You got the first day of school over. What has to be done in the near term in terms of getting this department up and running as we really go into the school year in earnest?
Well, one of my focuses on exceptional customer service, and we listen to what we're hearing. And the chairwoman has mentioned training and training our staff. Our officers have been trained in de-escalation, and that's a train-the-trainer program. So we're going to bring that into the schools in every school. Every school is going to have a safety committee. We have to get that up and running right away. Cross-sections of administrators, mental health professionals, guidance counselors, and our officers to come together on a regular basis to discuss in those little microcosms the issues at hand in those schools.
You talked about mental health, and we talked in our last segment about trying to deal with the issue that happened in Broward County in terms of red flags. So the question is, what is the school district doing to coordinate this whole thing, whether it's with different law enforcement agencies or the Department of Children and Families? other agencies and parts of government out there that may be the pieces of the puzzle that we have to put together in order to avoid other tragedies?
I would tell you it would take longer than the 3 minutes left I think we have in the show, but there's been a lot going on, and there's been a lot of work and coordination through the mental health plan that we submitted to the state, again, what's going on with the police force. But one thing I want to close on, especially at the beginning of school, and I know we've said this before, but what ultimately makes this different is that every single person, no matter parent, teacher, administrator, police officer, everyone plays a role. So it's to see something, say something. Don't be afraid if there's someone a student or something that is alarming someone. Students have to be empowered, staff have to be empowered, parents have to be empowered to bring that forward so we can address it so it's not too late.
Elizabeth, are you picking that up, that even parents and other kids out there are saying that we're in a new world here, and nobody wants to be basically tattling or snitching on people, but we all have, precious children in the school, and that that we have to be more on the lookout for problems than we have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year we saw a string of social media threats both before Parkland and after in Sarasota County, and a lot of those threats came to the police attention because of students. So I really think you do see this attitude with students where, they fear for their own safety, they're monitoring social media, and in some ways they're really the better eyes and ears because they're just on all of these forums naturally. So you do see that.
But Chief, I would say that can also be problematic. I mean, we know young people, we know even adults who may use our sensitivity about school security right now in order to call things in that shouldn't be called in. How do you weed out the real threats from?
That's our job, and I'm really, out of the tragedy came a movement of students, and I applaud them for getting involved and being active and being vocal. No one wants this to happen ever again, and I think it's the young people, our children, who can play a big role in what's going on. And I think they realize this whole issue about snitching is not a bad thing. It's being a good neighbor. It's being a good community member.
Bridget, final thought?
I absolutely agree. I think that what Elizabeth touched on is something that see something, say something, as simple as it is incredibly powerful. And we just need to continue to echo that so that we can work together as a community to keep everyone safe.
Okay, and we have to leave it there. I thank you all for joining us tonight. We want to thank Sarasota School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler, Sarasota Schools new Police Chief Paul Grahowski, and Elizabeth Ginnis, the education reporter for the Herald Tribune, for joining us tonight. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.